I think of all the teenagers who have the perfect clothes, you know, hundreds of dollars worth of clothes wearing on a single body and not one idea in their head, especially one idea about something that really matters, you know? And we could think of a lot of people to blame for that. I want to give a few announcements. You know, this is Monday night. We're doing this on the 10th, and tomorrow at 16th and J, we're going to be out in force. I hope you'll be down there. Maybe you'll think of getting down. Between 4 and 6 is the annual Candlelight Vigil for Peace. Bring waterproof candles and come to 16th and J. It's always very it's heartwarming, even in this time of great despair about not being able to get rid of a war like a monkey on our back that the people have turned against, but none of the legislators seem to be able to work on that. But do come tomorrow, Tuesday, 16th and J. There's parking up on I Street. They're parking up a little higher and you can walk on down. Even parking on the street is available at a lot of different places. And then just to announce, because we're not going to have a show after next week, after the 17th, we'll be into the holiday mode. I did want to announce that Because People Matter, if you've been looking in the boxes for Because People Matter, we had a huge computer malfunction and are not coming out until the end of December. So it will be in the boxes around end of December. You'll see our paper, as well as another wonderful paper in some boxes, the Rock Creek Free Press, which also has a lot of interesting articles. So I want to make an special announcement that on December 18th, with Teach Peace, does a film series called Making Peace and 9/11. You will hear one of the main voices of the 9/11 truth movement, which is the movement that suspects the administration of hiding the facts. His name is David Ray Griffin. He's a retired theologian from, now I can't remember the name of his former school, but he has done most of the work debunking, for example, the Commission report and showing how many things are omitted and distorted in that report. It will be at Davis, at that film series, at the Davis Library, and you can get all this information on sacpeace.org. If you go up to sacpeace.org, you will see what's cooking in the peace and justice community, and we'll be able to take part. And what I'm hearing here is we can blame the people for almost all that has happened in a certain, I'm serious.
Well, I mean,
I'm serious. We have been too passive all along the path.
Well, the thing is that the ideals, certain ideals of living in a free society have been worn down, and that people don't really fully understand these ideas.
Like the idea of not being surveilled.
Right. You know, it reminds me of a situation. If the police come into everybody's house and they search for evidence of crime without search warrants and whatnot, and they do this, I assure you that of the things that the police consider to be crimes, they will gather evidence of them and there'll be more convictions. The problem is another crime won't go prosecuted. That would be the crime of the police going into everybody's homes without warrants.
Which they now can do.
Exactly. That is the crime. In other words, an invasion of your privacy
is a crime.
Is a crime to begin with. So when people are talking about, well, we need to have them do this to prevent crime, well, that doesn't make sense. It's a crime.
But I can imagine that there are many people watching who are not aware that the police can come into your house without a warrant and search and never tell you that they've been there. Well,
this is a question whether or not they can under the NSA Act or not. There's some loophole in the law which apparently claims that this could happen. And
this is not part of the Patriot Act?
It's a very good question, Jim. Is that actually part of the Patriot Act or not?
I notice that you throw the hardest questions to Jim.
Well, I'm not Jim.
No, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. People have interpreted the wording of this very curiously as to whether or not these events have occurred or not. So we don't know.
But
the Patriot Act has lots of troubling aspects of it, and that's one of them, is this aspect that it appears to water down the rights against search and seizure. The extent to which it's been actually been applied is questionable, and who it could be applied against is questionable.
Well, since we can't see most of the reports, and with the kind of
Secret
people
government.
that we're dealing with. They destroy the evidence even when they're warned not to.
Secret is secret. Oh, I mean, you know, the event that just happened this week is it's almost unbelievable. There is a videotape, apparently, of an interrogation that was made, of torture. Well, we think it was torture, who knows? But we haven't seen it, so we don't know. And the CIA destroys it, and the CIA director says the reason, he actually says the reason was to protect the people doing the interrogation. That is his actual explanation.
Isn't that a definition of obstruction of justice?
Yeah, it is. As far as I understand, it is. So what's going to happen next with that, who knows? My prediction, Congress will roll over like a dog.
Now, what would give you the thought that they might possibly do that?
Actually, the ACLU had this thing.
Is it because the president is such a strong
I
position?
should have brought it. The ACLU sent out something after the Congress rolled over on the FISA bill. They sent out this flyer showing all the members of Congress as sheep. Did you see that, Jim? Yeah, it was fantastic.
That must really hurt as somebody working on civil liberties when our own representatives roll over before they're asked to roll over. The preemptive rolling over. Yes?
Yes, I agree with you. On another thing I might mention,
Okay.
we get involved in a lot of, you might call low-key issues, but it does involve people's civil liberties, or it violates doing something contrary to the intent of the law. An example would be on recruiting. As you know, under the No Child Left Behind, the schools, if they're going to get the federal money, have to allow recruiters to come onto campus.
Okay.
And there's a provision for parents to opt out.
Right.
But that has, around the country, that's become very difficult to do in some school districts.
Wow.
There are cases where the students are discouraged
From opting out.
opting out through various methods, and this is something that the ACLU will react to if we become aware of a school board that is not following what the provisions of the law are.
This is extremely important. Now, is this a national position right now?
No, I'm just saying that this is something I think if it comes to attention of a local chapter, they'll contract.
Well, this makes me want to immediately get in contact with Operation Enduring Reality, which is the group of veterans in our own neighborhood who are counter-recruiting. That's information that they would really love to have, I'm sure.
Well, if any of those find an instance where the student, in effect, is being punished for doing that, they should contact their local ACLU chapter.
Well, you know, there have been many times in the history of the ACLU when they have defended people that lefties like myself go, oh, come on, you know. But I mean, that's really one of the admirable things about the ACLU is that it focuses on not on the victim, but on the rights.
Well, the ACLU defended Rush Limbaugh over his...
Well, now that is the end. Okay.
You can't stay.
Okay, cancel my membership. No, over his, not over Nazi content.
No, over his unauthorized, I guess he fraudulently obtained prescription medicine. I would defer to
Well, I don't know about
Jeff,
I don't know
But that wasn't where the ACLU stood for them.
I don't know.
Yes, they became involved in that.
Oh.
Yes.
Because of the way, I think because of the way he was stopped, whether it was a legal search, I think was one of the issues that was raised. But I'm not familiar with the exact details, but that is the point. The ACLU defends people of different religious faiths. It defends the rights of atheists. It defends the Constitution. It doesn't look, it's not partisan in that sense, and a lot of people have a misconception about who might be defended. I mean, I think people know that the ACLU has defended members of the Nazi Party in the United States, members of the KKK have been defended in their constitutional rights. The ACLU does not care what it is that people are speaking about. They care about defending their speech. In the same part, they've, the defended members of the Communist Party and so forth obviously have radically different views, because our view is that the American way is the way of freedom and of open debate.